Hey guys, Mr. X with the Extreme Channel. Today we are launching our second ever room tour. That's right, about 6 or 7 months ago we did a full room tour and about 80% of it has changed. So if you like what you see today, make sure to hit that like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification because we have daily content that drops every day at 4 p.m. Eastern, most of it about extreme collectibles. Let's do it. All right, guys, so let's get started. We are going to do things a little bit differently than last time. First, as you see, we're kind of starting deep in. So we're going to pull out and kind of do it backwards, which some people prefer it that way. Second, we're going to do a once-over of everything, of kind of the new layout, new collection themes in each area, with the acrylic panels of the cases on, with some of the lighting off. And then we're going to do close-ups of each piece with the panels off and the lighting on to kind of give you a better view. So that's one big difference. So as you see right here, this used to be the game room area. We had a ping pong table, some other things going on. Here's the new DC room, which we'll take a close look at. Pretty cool. And then the ping pong table here has been replaced by Transformers. A few more additions that we're going to do to this as well, which you'll see in the future. And one thing, if you want to see some content outside of YouTube, check out the Extreme Channel Facebook page. The link is in the description below. There's a shuffleboard table. And then the grandiose X-Men wall. My favorite, which of course we will come back to. Now, slowly we move over to the home theater room, which there have also been a ton of changes. Kind of the trophy room, vanquished creatures, we will look at that. Home theater style chairs. One difference today, we're not going to look at autographed memorabilia. We were mainly going to focus on stats. And we're going to start up the staircase. There is one big piece of memorabilia that's actually a little bit in the dark. And I actually prefer it this way. I have motion activated lights that the batteries burn out really easily. But I want to put some kind of blue LED lighting up here around this HCG. This is made by Hollywood Collectibles Group. Life-size alien queen coming out of the wall. I have done a review on this. Most of these pieces I have, so make sure that you, like I said, you've subscribed to the channel, you like this video, because we're also doing a giveaway. If you watch any of the other videos, you can see a statue giveaway that we're doing. Some more autographed memorabilia we will ignore. So this is the throne collection right here. And let's dive into each piece. And again, I'll probably repeat some things, but when people watch these, almost hour-long videos, they only catch parts of it. So first of all, this is part of the throne collection. First piece on top, this is Galactus on throne. This is a custom piece. A custom is an unlicensed commission, generally numbering less than 100. And if you see a custom piece on here, if you're curious, hey, I want that piece, they are no longer for sale, only by secondhand buyers. So you want to make sure that you're buying a legit one on either a buy-sell trade group or eBay or something of that nature. Next to Apocalypse, next to Galactus, we have Apocalypse, one of the greatest X-Men villains of all time. This is a fantastic piece, great representation of the first mutant. Below him are also two more custom on throne pieces. Another X-Men villain, Mr. Sinister. This is from Age of Apocalypse. I have another piece we'll look at Magneto. A custom pedestal that was originally made, I believe this was meant to go with the Sideshow Thanos on throne, but I put him with this custom Doctor Doom here. One of my favorite pieces, and quite a few of these I have reviewed, so you can check that out on the channel. Then moving over, area that I need to improve some lighting on. We have this custom Predator on throne. Absolutely amazing piece. Probably my current favorite Predator piece in my collection. And I think I've reviewed every single throne piece. There's his switch out mask. We have XM Studios Hulkbuster, which is actually at my office. I've done a room tour of my office you can check out as well. Like I said, daily content on the channel. And here is King Hulk on throne. Another custom piece. You can tell I really enjoy custom pieces because Loki on throne is also a custom piece. And a lot of these I have additional props I may have added, like the hammer here, the Captain America shield. The flashlight actually exists. We'll talk about that in a second. Down here we have some licensed pieces. So this is Emperor on Throne by Sideshow Collectibles, Palpatine. Next to Sharon Stone from Basic Instinct. This is made by Blitzway, who does a great job with movie pieces. And below them we have the totally accurate scaled XM Studios Magneto on Throne with some custom switch outs. Then we have a custom Batman contingency plan where he has defeated the rest of the Justice League there. Next to Lady Maria from Bloodborne. This is made by Prime One Studios. All of these throne pieces are 1/4 scale, which we'll talk about scale many times. And then a custom Deadpool Kills the World. You can see pretty much every Marvel character in there is creating his throne. And this Black Panther on Throne piece is why you see that flashlight. It's actually a black light flashlight. So if you catch that review, you see he has this blue luminescence that lights up when you put a black light on him. So do a lot of other places in the X-Mansion. This is by Sideshow Collectibles, this Ultron on Throne. This is not 1/4 scale, so I stand corrected. This, I believe, is 1/5 scale. You can see it looks very small next to these other pieces. And a custom Unworthy Thor on Throne. And here we have kind of my theme. Silver Surfer is my favorite character, so you'll see a number of statues with Silver Surfer. And then obviously Galactus, who created Silver Surfer. This is the Sideshow Galactus maquette. And in front of him we have one of many of the Mad Titan. This is by Sideshow Collectibles. It is their Thanos on Throne with a lot of additional custom switch outs. So the portrait's different. There's a pedestal with his sword in it, his helmet, and then some Avengers pieces down here on the side. I love this setup right here. And then a custom Silver Surfer museum pose. So he's kind of stepping off his board, maybe onto his planet. One of my favorite pieces. And then some more cosmic themed stuff. We have some Guardians down here. Guardians of the Galaxy. Up front we have the XM Studios Star-Lord. I do have XM Studios Groot and Rocket coming. And then a custom Drax. So if you are not familiar with these from the cartoons, this is what Drax really looks like. And then next to him, I need to find a good spot for this guy, is another Thanos on Throne. This is a custom piece. He's defeated his enemies. You see Surfer's board, Warlock's staff, Captain America's shield, a few other of the Avengers pieces. I love this piece right here. Very, very cool. That's a collage for autographs that we'll look at in a second. But moving over to this cosmic area right here. Some of my favorite pieces right here. This is a Curse of the Spawn statue. Only 3 or 4 exist right now. They're making about 60 more, which will be ready in like 4 to 6 months. But I'm very proud myself. One of my favorite YouTube channels, he has one. Well, I'm not very familiar with Curse of the Spawn. It is a comic based off of Spawn, obviously. Here is the XM Studios Ghost Rider. Very cool piece. And these XM Studios pieces, like this one I got from Anton Wu, Spec Fiction, two of my favorite places to order from, Anton Wu on Facebook and Spec Fiction. The Darkness, I think I also got this from Anton years and years ago, probably 4 or 5 years ago. So the Darkness is a Marvel character. Just kidding. I actually mistakenly said that in his review. Nerds are unforgiving. Below we got a start of a Fantastic Four setup. So you're gonna see a few slabs. Those are CGC graded comics. I just get ones I enjoy the covers of. It's not about the value to me. That one's valued like at 60, 70 bucks. So not one of your $20,000 pieces. However, this Silver Surfer is probably valued at $7,000 to $10,000. This is my favorite piece in my collection. It is a custom, highly sought after Silver Surfer. And I believe this is an artist-proof version, but I will never ever sell this. And then another custom Silver Surfer coming out of a portal on Galactus's hand, right behind. And a custom Thing statue. And what's ironic about that is I have another Thing statue actually sitting in my garage I need to unbox right now. And this whole display I'm going to change. I'm going to double the size of it, and it's going to be fantastic for Silver Surfer, Thanos, Galactus. So here's a quick once over of the kitchen / bar. Some of the things I'm reading right now. This is actually the statue giveaway that we just announced. I'm filming this the day before we announce it, but we're doing another statue giveaway. So again, check out any of those other videos and that will tell you. So gonna move over here. I have a MAME arcade game I had somebody create for me about 5 years ago, probably longer than that actually, but it has 5,000 games on it. Revenge of Doe, I don't even know if that's on it or what that is, but we surprisingly don't use it that often. This is my video game collection, or part of it. And I don't have the lights on right now, but I have a remote for the lights. So starting at the top, we got Street Fighter, one of my favorite video games growing up. By Prototype Z, this is Ryu, not Ryu. Dollzine by Pop Culture Shock Toys. And Blanka, or Blanka, however you want to call them. I wish someone would do an amazing Blanka statue. I haven't seen one I liked. That one's definitely sufficient for the price. We have Sonic right here. I have Bowser coming in, so I gotta rearrange this a little bit. Sonic is from First Four Figures, so is the Bowser. Then the rest of these Street Fighters are all from PCS, Pop Culture Shock Toys. We have their M. Bison. Balrog. This is kind of the villains of the traditional Street Fighter II Championship Edition. And Vega. Bought that from the wonderful Dark Lord himself. Then down at the bottom, we have the variant of Zangief and Ken kicking him in the face. Then moving over here, we have kind of my childhood, is the easiest way to say it. Starting with the Turtles from the 1990s movie. And you know, I grew up in the 80s and I thought this movie was phenomenal. Watching it as an adult today, there's a lot of subtle things you actually pick up from the movie. It's still a very, very well done movie. This is made by Prime One Studios. I think a completely underrated piece, how all the pieces go together. Very cool. And then some more turtle pieces, not from that movie, but these turtle pieces are from the newer movies, the remakes, like in 2013, 15. You have the Bebop, Rocksteady, Splinter. These are all by Prime One Studios. And they go for usually under retail. They're a good deal. And then I have the NECA Shredder from the 1990s movie right here. He is an action figure, so he's more posable, which is nice because he only costs around $100 compared to the you know, $700 or $800 these have, price tags these have. And then below we have the Masters of the Universe. By Sideshow Collectibles, I have the Skeletor. I also have their Orko right there. And then my recent acquisition, that's a custom He-Man and Battle Cat. You can check out the review on that. Very, very cool piece. Now, one of the questions, and I'm probably going to say this a few times, is what kind of display are you looking at right now that you have been looking at? These are Moducase MODU case. And actually, I have a video, I'll say this later in the tour, that talks all about the different types of displays I have, so go check that out. Here is Goro from PCS, so a little bit more video game themes. Goro from PCS, Pop Culture Shock Toys. This is 1/3 scale. Right below him are actually the next two statues we're giving away. And the way we give away statues is, if you comment on a video, you are entered into it. At every 2,500 subs, I pick a random video and a random comment, and we give away a statue. These are the next two that are being given away. So make sure you comment on this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell notification to get entered. If you want more chances to win, like this Scorpion piece by Pop Culture Shock Toys, then watch more videos and comment on more videos. Entering where the magic happens. So if you've watched the channel before, you know this is where I sit from. I've recently switched things up within the last month, so sometimes I'm facing that way, sometimes this way. I kind of like this new setup, but let's go ahead and take a look at the pieces in here. First, my alma mater. But kind of have movie theme in this room. It is completely movies, as I said. And I tried to sort them by villains and heroes and whatnot. So obviously up here, you have a big stash from Sideshow Collectibles, and then a custom. So this is a custom 1/4 scale Michael Myers. And then Sideshow's premium formats of Freddy Krueger, Leatherface, and Jason. The quartet of horror, if you will. This is by HCG, Hollywood Collectible Group, SIL. I remember this is a rated R movie I snuck into when I was young. We have the Hot Toys Vader 1/4 scale. That's the only Hot Toys I think I still own to this day. And then one of my favorite movies growing up, this is by Sideshow Collectibles, The Lord of Darkness, played by Tim Curry. Yes, that's the same guy as Pennywise in the first It movie, as well as the Home Alone 2, the hotel manager. Then we have Pop Culture Shock Toys Howling. This is from my favorite werewolf movie. I actually recently watched it. Then we have Mola Ram from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and you know, he's kind of a villain. I never liked the Indiana Jones that Sideshow did, both the Raiders of the Lost Ark and the Temple of Doom, but I think he looks okay as a standalone piece with the other horror pieces. Then we have Alita, the biggest horror piece of all, because we know that bitch was evil in the movie. Actually, she's up here because it's the only place she would fit height-wise. I wish they would have scaled her correctly. So then the next row, you have a little bit more horror. You have the American Werewolf in London, also by PCS, Pop Culture Shock Toys, still 1/4 scale. And then we have Weta's Gollum, which is technically 1/3 scale, but he fits really well with 1/4 scale pieces. And here's where I'm on the fence. Do I continue the Lord of the Rings line with Prime 1 or no? Then we have our heroes. So starting with my custom Crow, one of my favorite pieces. The Rocketeer. Where is the rocket? This is by Sideshow Collectibles. All these are 1/4 scale. My custom Blade. And I think I've reviewed most of these in this case so far. Rocky 2 by Blitzway. Blitzway just does unbelievable job with their portraits. And then we have Arnie from T2, way in the back. This is by Sideshow Collectibles. I think it's an underrated piece. You can get it for a fairly decent price for a statue. And then Arnie as Conan, which I think is a little bit underscaled on this piece, but still a fantastic piece. Then the bottom layer, we have our comic movies. So starting with Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen, which when I bought this statue, I think I said it during the review, I tried to watch that movie again. It's so bad, in my opinion. He glows in the dark though. And then we have Christopher Reeve's Superman, Fortress of Solitude, 1/4 scale still, all of these. And we have our DC villains. So while this first one isn't a direct representation of Danny DeVito, I think it kind of falls in with these other pieces, so I put them in here. Where I keep my comic DC pieces, you'll see on the other side of the basement. We have the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman from Sideshow. That penguin's custom, by the way. And then the custom Jack Nicholson Joker. Tons of switch outs on this piece. The Suicide Squad Jared Leto by Sideshow. And then you can see the matching Harley Quinn. I really like these pieces. I think they're underrated as well. Suicide Squad, I like the characters. I didn't like the movie. And then we have the Mime variant, custom, 1/4 scale of Jack Nicholson from the original Batman movie. And only 10 of those were made, so pretty rare piece. Awesome piece with his switch out portrait mask up front. And we'll come back to the bottom of this in a second. So this is where I'm setting the aliens at. But on the wall, we have Tremors. I don't know what scale this would be, but it was a custom piece I bought off eBay for pretty cheap, but it's done really well. I can't remember if I've reviewed this or not. But before we go over to the alien display, let's check out some more horror stuff. So by Dream Figures, I have their mummy down here, and I actually have two mummies because the one on the left had some significant breakages I've glued back together. So then I sawed off the peg on his bottom. Might as well as use it. They sent me a replacement piece. Then I have a custom werewolf down here. You can tell I like werewolves. I'm tempted to get the Dream Figures Lycan as well. And then this spot is reserved for a custom Dracula that should be arriving very soon. So then we have the alien display. Now Dutch is holding the spot for a custom 1/3 scale Alien vs Predator piece. Very rare, very expensive. It may have arrived after I filmed this, so you may have seen it already. If not, you'll see it very soon, and you'll also see it behind me in future reviews. But we have the Supreme Scale, or 1/3 scale Alien from XM Studios back here. I need to figure out a way to get better lighting in this area. But awesome, awesome piece. And then you have a 1/4 scale Alien, and look at the size comparison. It doesn't look too bad. They actually blend well together, the scales. So this is by Prime One Studios. This is Scorpion Alien, so this is from the... And then down below we have my favorite Alien piece, the 1/3 scale by Prime One Studios Alien Dog Maquette exclusive. Then we have the HCG loader. Need to fix that cord back there. And the Sideshow Alien Queen Maquette. I wish it was a little bit bigger because it would actually scale really well with this loader, even though these don't have defined scales. And then the King Maquette from Sideshow Collectibles. Just gonna give you a once over of these. And then we have my fatties with Aquaman. He's gonna ship, he might even come before this tour is launched. But you got the Fat Batman. These are made by CO Signature Collectibles. Very cool company. That's also starting to look at some other pieces besides Fat Heroes. You got a Superman down in this pancake stack. A Fat Wolverine. One of my favorites. This piece is really hard to get. And then a Deadpool. The Wolverine was the first piece they came out with, and it's pretty popular. So then we're going to move to the Star Wars. We'll start down here at the bottom. We got Sideshow Collectibles Chewie. So this is the newer version, the Millennium Falcon base. Then the Han/Stormtrooper piece. And I have the helmet on the ground there, kind of like he took it off. That's actually a switch out portrait you can display instead. These are all 1/4 scale right here. And then the Yoda vs. Clone Trooper. Now I do plan to put another case right here. So they're a little crowded. Then also down below over here you have the ladies. Also by Sideshow Collectibles, we got Jyn Erso, Rey, and then BB-8, because we don't know what gender BB-8 is. So let's call BB-8 a lady. Very cool pieces. I think this is the exclusive of all of them, I believe. 1/4 scale. Then up top, we got Sideshow Collectibles Jabba the Hutt 1/6 scale. So I do know a custom company was making a 1/4 one, but literally it would be longer than this entire display. So I would like an accurate scale, but and he has a number of different switch outs. And you got the Jabba's Palace going on here. We got a 1/6 Han Solo in the back, which it doesn't scale well with this Gamorrean Guard here, but I like to think that it's far in the back, so it helps. So this is a custom Gamorrean Guard 1/4 scale. Again, doesn't look too bad scaled with the Jabba. Then we got Bubba, XM Studios Boba Fett, another incredibly underrated piece. The rest of these Star Wars are all 1/4 scale. Next to what a lot of people consider a grail, the Sideshow Collectibles speeder bike. Awesome, awesome piece. Then we got more villains below, starting with XM Studios 1/5 scale. So this is 1/5, I was mistaken. Mythos Darth Maul. Now I really like this piece. I hate that it's 1/5 scale. I do like the XM Studios 1/4 scale better, but it's twice the price of this, so I pass on it, especially nowadays. We got the Iron Studios Vader. I do have a custom Vader that I have on order, which will probably dethrone this, and I'll swap it out when I sell it, probably next year, not anytime soon. And then we have the premium format Kylo Ren from Sideshow Collectibles. See, I have a custom portrait on it. They made about, a group of us, we made about 50 of these. And I keep the helmet down below, kind of like he removed the helmet. Pretty cool. Then down below, we have some non-movie villains. So we have Darth Revan, custom 1/4 scale. This is a pretty highly sought after piece. I think from the custom group that did this, it's probably one of their most successful launches. We have the Sideshow General Grievous. And if you recall on that video, I thought I made a mistake by buying him. He really, really grew on me. And then behind him, behind the glass here, you see Darth Magus. I'm reading X-Men Age of Apocalypse right now, so I was just reading it before this actually. So that is what I call the movie room, the filming room. And in the center, the last thing I didn't point out is the Regal Robot Emperor chair, Emperor office chair. So now we're moving into the theater room. You saw a little bit of it earlier when we looked at the video game stuff and childhood statue stuff. So I have 3 movie chair seating, lights, power, and you can choose whatever color you want. The blue looks weird in the video. Kind of give you a once over here. And over here, this is my $900 Halloween mask. I got it for much cheaper than that. But I've reviewed this as well. You can check it out on a video. It looks like you're actually a human skull wearing it. But with the blue lighting, top lighting here as well, looks pretty cool, especially in the dark, watching movies. But we'll start with this Cool Props Alien Warrior head. I've recently reviewed it, had it for a long time. It was one of my first conversions to actually collecting statues. I think I got this before I actually got any statues, and I just considered this kind of a movie prop. And right below him is made by Prime One Studios, which we're going to talk a lot about later. The Alien from Independence Day. Very underrated piece. I'm still debating if I want to get lighting here or just use the lighting that comes from the blue chairs. This is by Sideshow Collectibles, as I've gotten wrong many times. This is their Pred Alien piece from Alien vs. Predator Requiem, when there was an offspring of Alien and Predator together. Followed by a custom face hugger from Aliens in a cryostasis tube. So the face hugger itself is actually from NECA, but I had the cryostasis tube done custom. Then above it you have, I believe this is Chronicle Collectibles female Tyrannosaurus Rex. Obviously not the real scale. It would be much bigger. Same thing with Smog. This is by Weta. Made this, W-E-T-A. This is Smog from Lord of the Rings. Or more specifically, Hobbit. Then here we have Queen Studios T800. This is one of those pieces that is really expensive with the silicone skin, but it looks real. I mean, it looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger is actually in your living room. You can see the light up feature. Amazing detail. His computer chip right there. A Jack of the Dust burnt skull always reminds me of, you know, like Terminator 1 when all those skulls were there. And moving down to some more alien pieces, because Predator is an alien. This is the City Hunter Predator bust by Sideshow Collectibles. This is One of my favorite busts they've done of it, even though I wasn't a huge fan of Predator 2. And next to it, you have a mask from Alien vs. Predator, one of the Predator masks. This is done by Cool Props, that's the name of the company. And again, here you see that blue lighting reflecting off the chairs. It looks really cool when you're watching movies. Then here is this Sideshow T-800 bust that is in pieces. And you also see the hand. So I had an earthquake about 1,000 miles from me that didn't affect this, but at the same time that earthquake happened 1,000 miles, this fell off the shelf. It's really probably the biggest damage I've ever had with the collectible, and it is what it is. In the middle, by Elite Creature Collectibles, we have their Mohawk Gremlin. And lights really do a lot more justice for these pieces, but in person, they just blow you away. Then I don't even know where I got this one. This is a really cheap Stripe Gremlin puppet. But I have him next to, also by Elite Creature Collectibles, their Reaper from Blade 2. Crazy looking awesome piece. And this is kind of the corner we're moving to. A custom Pennywise bust. Especially since a lot of these are horror or creatures, I think the low blue lighting actually makes them look even better. Also by Queen Studios, before they were licensed, is this Heath Ledger bust. Awesome, awesome piece. Silicone, looks real. Creepy, very homicidal-like. My most recent bust that I added is this Loki, also by Queen Studios. Pretty much it's fair to say if you ever see a really realistic looking one, it is by Queen Studios. This one is just awesome. Exceeded my expectations by far. Recently the review on him dropped. Then just a commanding presence, we have Thanos, also by Queen Studios. Amazing piece to represent the Mad Titan himself. This one is actually from Endgame, where Loki's from Infinity War. And I have a custom Pumpkinhead bust. So this piece right here is, it's a custom piece. Pumpkinhead is one of my favorite horror creatures ever made. I loved it growing up. It's probably why I'm scarred for life now. This one, also made by the same person, I'm not a huge fan of. This is Creeper from Jeepers Creepers. I like the concept of it, but I think the execution is nothing compared to Pumpkinhead. So these were actually made by the same guy. And then lastly, we have a new addition to Cobra Kai, the Lycan from Underworld, also made by Elite Creature Collectibles. This Lycan bust is awesome. So I'll step back here, give you guys the once over. And let's move on. So now we're going to move into the X-Men / Transformers / DC area we looked at. And again, I have removed all the covers. Here's a quick once over. But let's start right here. This is a custom 1/4 scale, even though he's gigantic, Onslaught. Which, if you're unfamiliar with that character, he actually is a combination of Professor X and Magneto. Now, I actually won this in a raffle. It's not one of my most favorite pieces. It's very, very large, as you can see, but not too bad at all. And then I move over to my partial Magneto display. And here's the back of it. Again, just a cover that I like. 9.8. This is actually the cover that I believe the new Legendary Beast XM is being based off of. So let's look at that display really quick. So I have XM White Magneto, starting right here, 1/4 scale. And I believe all the Marvel pieces we're about to look at are the 1/4 scale, 4 times smaller than they'd be in real life. And my favorite Magneto, this is a custom Magneto vs. Sentinel hand. We're going to see quite a few other Sentinel pieces very shortly. And they're one of the supporters of the channel, did a Ian McClellan sketch, pretty cool. And then I have a custom repainted black Magneto. So Magneto obviously traditionally wore his red and purple, but there's a few times in the comics when he wore the black and the white. So I think it contrasts really well. Below it is kind of my Daredevil Marvel setup. So I have two Daredevil pieces from Sideshow Collectibles. They're 1/4 scale premium formats, the normal and the Shadowlands, which I just read the Shadowlands Omnibus. A custom 1/4 scale Ghost Rider. I always feel like Daredevil, Ghost Rider, Punisher work really well together. And Iron Fist as well. So this is the Sideshow 1/4 scale newer Punisher piece. And XM Studios Iron Fist. Now I have reviewed all of these pieces in this case right here, but I think they work well together. I'm going to be moving them when I have a custom 1/4 scale Kingpin coming. And then moving over here, I have kind of a miscellaneous Marvel selection. Your Axis, 1940s, Captain America, Crossbones. So we'll start with this custom 1/4 scale Captain America. Secret Empire. So this is a version where Captain America actually fights for Hydra. Pretty cool piece. I have reviewed it. XM Studios Red Skull, in my opinion, one of the best Red Skulls out there, even though there's not a lot of good ones, but it's still a decent piece. Kind of in victory. This is just a temporary display for these guys, and then I have a custom Crossbones that the light just went out. There we go. I have reviewed all of those. And the recent acquisition, I actually just filmed this a few hours ago, is the Sideshow Premium Format Scarecrow. And I just haven't got the spot set up for him yet. And as we move in, this is kind of the DC setup, so we'll come back to the individual pieces. But on the top row, you have the 1/3 scale from Prime One Studios. And we'll go through each piece. And then we have some 1/4 scale miscellaneous DC, specifically a lot of Batman stuff, but then the XM Studios Batman Samurai line in the middle. And at the end, I'll kind of give a once over. But let's start down here. We have Sideshow Ivy Premium Format. Not a huge fan of this piece, but it's the only Ivy that I have in my collection as of now. I actually have a spot for the 1/3 Ivy we'll look at. Sideshow's Premium Format Bane. This one is very hard to beat. This is a custom 1/4 scale Riddler I recently got in. Very cool piece. The lighting is not the best on this, but you can check out the review. And then let me back up to give you guys a little bit of perspective here. So there's those pieces with the 1/3 on top, and then we have the Samurai in the middle. Started this custom Batcave. So this is just part of the diorama. I'll show you the Batcave in the chair later, but it's actually twice as deep as this. I just don't have it. And I'm trying to figure out a good place for it, but I think this is sufficient for now. But it's an awesome representation of the Batcave, especially with the light up feature. One of my biggest pieces. Let's go to the Samurai line. So this is from XM Studios. They're all 1/4 scale, their own interpretation. What if Batman and his villains were alive in the Samurai times? And it's kind of weird because you'll see some futuristic stuff and some very traditional modern stuff. This is their Bane. And all of them come with tons of switch out options, which is great. Heads, arms. This is their Deathstroke. Then one piece, I might even call this a grail, their Shogun piece. This is Batman on a horse. So they've actually released 2 different Batmans, and they just teased a 3rd one. This was the 2nd one. And right here is actually the 1st one. So I've had this one for years, and recently got the Shogun one when it came out about 4 or 5 months ago. But this is the original one with actually a custom head. In this room, I need to do something about the lighting because the overhead lighting is just horrible. We have Batgirl from the Samurai line. Had this piece for quite a while, very cool. I think she has 4 different portraits and they're all very, very unique and different. And then their Catwoman, I actually won this in a raffle as well. Then along the bottom here, we have the Sideshow Gotham Nightmare Bat. Kind of their own interpretation. I used to have the Joker as a counterpiece to it. No longer, but very cool, very evil. Then the classic Batman villains. We have Joker and Harley Quinn. These are also from Sideshow Collectibles. They're premium formats. Both exclusive versions. Then the last one for scale, I have right up here some of the heroes. First, we have a Clark Kent transformation. And I actually have another one en route right now, which you'll see a review of very shortly. That's why it's a good idea to subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification. This is a custom piece. And then this is that piece missing from the Batcave. So I'm not a fan of this part of it. I think this one is really lacking. And I actually have another one I think that'll work really well with the Batcave. Then we have Superman in a black suit. This is also a custom, so all three of these are customs. And I have reviewed them all. Then we're moving on to the 1/3 line. And again, just a once over for you guys. The open spot right there is for Ivy. But let's start back over here with Batman XE. So this is from the Arkham video games. While I've never played it, this is when he is fighting Mr. Freeze. He has kind of this endo or exothermic bat suit to keep warm. This does come with a mixed media fabric cape, but I didn't like it too much, so I display it without. I still think he looks really good. Next to Mr. Freeze especially. And what's really cool about the intricate detail of this is not only Mr. Freeze himself, but the base is phenomenal. Then we have Killer Croc from that same line. Huge piece. These are all 1/3 scale, so 3 times smaller than what they'd be in a real life. And I believe all of these are the exclusive versions. Then we have Batman the Dark Knight. So this is a different storyline of Batman, and these are all by Prime One Studios. Prime One Studios has actually made 2 of these. This is their older one. This is where he comes out of retirement and he's just sick of it. So if you see Batman with the gun, that's what that's about. And probably one of my favorite 1/3 scale pieces is the Batman Who Laughs. This is from the Batman Metal Comics, a different dimension. Very, very cool. This is kind of like Batman's been Jokerized. Kind of Batman and Joker mixed together. Then also from Batman Beyond video game right here. Amazing piece. While I haven't played the game, the representation is just awesome. Two more video game pieces, Bat villains right here. We have Scarecrow and Two-Face. Both incredible pieces. Very underrated, I think. Then we have Prime One 1/3 scale Doomsday. This is a beast. This is the exclusive version, so there's 2 different head switch outs, but takes up so much room. You see, I kind of have to put him in the middle. One thing I don't like about him is he's too big, but I don't think he's scaled accurately. I think he should be even bigger, which I wouldn't have bought probably because he wouldn't fit in the collection, especially when you look at him next to one of the best Superman statues ever made. Prime One 1/3 Hush Superman. So this is from the Hush comic line. And what's cool about this, it actually, you can rotate the pedestal pretty easily, so you can have them face off, however you want to display it. They have 2 versions of this. One is the cloth cape, the fabric cape that I have, and then one is this fully sculpted cape. So as we back up out of what I call the DC nook, we're going to move into the starting with kind of the good side. We have Jet Power Optimus Prime. All of these Transformers, I believe, are also by that same company, Prime One Studios, which got their start with Transformer statues, so there's a little bit of a loose affiliation there. This is a massive piece, 100 different pieces to put this together, $3,000. It's probably my favorite of the line. Then below, they have some classic Generation 1 pieces. You have Optimus and Megatron right here. This is really a lot more to my roots. my childhood as an 80s child. Both look great. A little bit smaller in scale. These aren't a defined scale, but in my head they're kind of 1/10. Here you have Megatron from Beast Wars. Beast Wars is a Transformers line that actually takes place in the future, where the Transformers crash land on a planet with dinosaurs and large animals. It was a cartoon series in the 90s. Obviously here Megatron turns into a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Right below him, from the 4th Michael Bay movie, I have Optimus Prime. Age of Extinction. Here I've removed his base because his base took up too much room. You're going to see that with about 3 or 4 more Transformers statues. And behind him we'll see that Bumblebee in a second. From the 1st Michael Bay movie, we have Ironhide over here. All of these have light up features that I never use, but still pretty cool. And then we have an empty spot right below him. That Ratchet is actually en route. This is my newest one to the collection. Here is Optimus Primal. So this is the Optimus Prime version from that Beast Wars I was just talking about, where he actually is a giant ape, King Kong type stuff. And below him, we have Bumblebee from the Michael Bay movies. And recently in a video, I mistakenly said he was from Dark Side of the Moon. This is not the Dark Side of the Moon version. I believe this is The Last Night, the 5th movie, which I'm not a fan of the movie, but I am a fan of the characters. So one of the things you see this remote right here. This is for the lighting I have on these middle shelves. But this is Galvatron from The Age of Extinction. So I've also removed the base on him. While I didn't enjoy the character, I think the statue is phenomenal. They did a really great job with this one. They have Megatron's head. That's how Galvatron was born. And if you're wondering about these cases, I've done a video on what type of statue display cases should you use. So then we move to Megatron. This is Megatron from Revenge of the Fallen, the 2nd movie. He's a little bit of battle damaged. He has some different portrait switch outs you can see down here. Again, I've removed the base. The base, I believe it was 30 inches by 30 inches. It was just monstrous, so it didn't make sense to keep it there. The next to him we have Shockwave, who is probably underscaled, but we wouldn't really want him much bigger to give you perspective size. He is currently, I think, the biggest statue in my collection. Amazing piece. And he's one of those pieces you really want a 360 design. We'll look at the back in a second. But here you have Barricade from the 1st movie. And then we'll move around here to capture Shockwave, the rest of him. Even so much going on the back here. And below him, the last Transformers piece we have is Lockdown. Also from Age of Extinction, I've removed his base. He was the first one I ever bought, and I actually had an accident where he shattered, so he's been slowly repaired. Next to his dogs, which are called Steeljaw. Which leaves the X-Men display, which is my favorite display. This is kind of my end game. This is what I would keep if I got rid of everything else. So we're going to take a look at that next. And these are in Modu cases. That's MODU cases. But actually, we'll start on the windowsill. I'm waiting on a few things to, some more Modu cases actually to come in. Here's a custom roided out Wolverine. This is a Wolf Killer is the name of it. This is a very rare piece, and people either love it or hate it. I love it. It's highly sought after. Kind of a different take. Then right here is 2 pieces from Sideshow Collectibles. This is their Deadpool Heat Seeker and Lady Deadpool. Lady Deadpool's from another universe. And I often get a lot of people, aren't you afraid of sunlight? There's actually a very expensive film I have on the windows that gets out those UV rays. And I did test it for about 6 months with another statue on the ledge that if it faded, I could have repainted it and I didn't care. It did not fade. And this is kind of a temporary setup. But with the X-Men pieces, let's go ahead and start down here. The bottom is kind of my Wolverine display. This piece is incredibly hard to display. It's actually a custom base because the real base is 4 times larger, but this is a fastball special. So all of my Wolverine pieces are 1/4 scale, or sorry, all my X-Men pieces. And this is Colossus throwing Wolverine, custom piece. And another CGC, just again, a great cover I love for Wolverine. All these bottom pieces right here are Wolverine. You'll see that in a second, starting with the Wolverine versus Juggernaut. This is by Iron Studios, and I do stand corrected. This is actually 1/6 scale, I believe. Then the rest will be 1/4 scale. Very cool diorama. I think Juggernaut's amazing. I think the base is amazing. I think Wolverine sucks in this piece. That's why he's facing that way. Then here we have a collection of Wolverines, starting with XM Studios Weapon X. If you're familiar with this piece, you'll notice I've removed all the screens. I think they look cheap anyway, and they save a lot of space. Then from the Logan movie, I have a custom 1/4 scale Logan and Laura, who is his daughter, X-23, on a motorcycle. Pretty cool. And in the back, we have XM Studios Brown Wolverine with his bone claws. Tons of switch outs. XM Studios loves to do that. The cross on the bottom because it's almost too tight to fit up where it's supposed to at the steeple there. But awesome. Shows him coming with his BAMP, his teleportation. Lots of switch out options available on this. XM Studios Storm. This is an amazing piece. She has multiple torsos, multiple portraits. I've custom added some lightning in there. She looks great. Custom Beast vs. Sentinel. Really shows the fierceness of Beast as opposed to the academic side. Then we move to some of the ladies. Here is the Kitty Pryde. So this is the exclusive version with Juggernaut. I thought she looked really good right here. I have a few Sentinel pieces from other statues. But then we have the Sideshow X-23 premium format exclusive. So this is Wolverine's daughter again, and you're gonna see one more statue with her on there. This is a custom Psylocke vs. Sentinel. Very cool piece. She just cut the Sentinel hand in half with her psionic powers. There's a blade right there she's created. She's using her telekinetic ability, very sultry. A Jubilee vs. Sentinel statue. This is pretty cool. This is a custom piece. So she's destroyed the foot, showing her firework power, blowing bubble gum, and there's, you know, a few different head portraits. Looks like it's in the future. Really reminds me of the 90s cartoons. Then we have my Phoenix Force setup. So this is a storyline where the Dark Phoenix, or the Phoenix Power, left Jean Grey and went into 5 different characters. I have the other 2 on order. One's actually shipping right now. But first is Magik, a little lesser known character, actually related to Colossus. But here she's been Phoenix Forced. She always has the horns, but see her blade, her huge blade on fire. Namor, how I pronounce it. Kind of a interesting group of Marvel characters in this. And this is Cyclops, after he's been Phoenix Forced. These all have matching bases, which is pretty cool. And then that Phoenix in the backs, the Dark Phoenix there, that is actually by XM Studios, where those are custom. Now we move to some of the big pieces, starting with this giant custom Iceman vs. Sentinel. He's freezing the Sentinel hand, he's floating on his ice ramp, shards coming out. Crazy. Almost as crazy as the Cyclops right next to it. Same exact custom maker. These are, I think the whole top row almost is customs. Fantastic action dynamic pose. But even more loved is this custom Rogue. Same line. Tearing apart this awesome Sentinel head. Showing her rage, her anger. Then moving over, this is actually from a different custom line, but still similar concept. It's Banshee. While I'm not a huge fan of the Banshee as a character, this is one of my favorite statues. He just ripped a hole through this Sentinel head. Some crazy stuff going on here. Very well done. And then next to it, I have some temporary placeholders for some more huge Sentinel pieces. But first is another Wolverine X-23 diorama. So Wolverine and his daughter, there's some Sentinel pieces on the bottom here. Some cool portraits in these. Tag team. And this is just part of that fastball special base we looked at earlier. I just have it as it's another Sentinel piece in the Sentinel graveyard. Then back here we have a realistic version of Juggernaut. This is a very rare piece, only 15 made. They came in what we call kit only, so you had to send it to a professional painter. You couldn't get it painted from the factory. Very, very different. I love it. It's a really cool piece of art. It's not very popular because of the bad portrayal of Juggernaut. Behind him is a custom Apocalypse piece. It's my current only Apocalypse piece. I do have a few coming in that'll probably replace it. Sideshows, Mystique exclusive up front. I've actually owned another Mystique by XM Studios. This one I actually did like better. And then one of my favorite pieces, a lot of these I keep saying favorite, is this custom Sabretooth. This is amazing. It's been professionally painted. Very, very cool. And here's kind of another look for you guys at this X-Men display. But that's all I got for today, guys. I really appreciate you tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, you know what? You don't live here, so you're fine. But if you like stuff like this, I drop content every day at 4 p.m. Eastern, high-end collectibles, a few other categories. So make sure you've hit that like button on this video, the subscribe, and then the bell notification to get notifications when new videos drop. And comment not only on this video, but those other videos, because that increases your chances to win a free statue. Thanks so much. Talk to you tomorrow. Take care.